You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
My celebrity crush was Pierce Brosnan.
What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood.
With the whole stars, they're just like us thing. We want them not to be just like us.
With Margaret Abels.
And Amy Wilson.
I want to just creepily stare at them at the airport. That's what I want, Amy.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas.
So you don't have to.
Who's iconic, Halston or Madonna? Hey, everybody. Welcome to What Fresh Hell, Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Amy.
And this is Margaret. And today, Amy, we're discussing our randomest claims to fame. Not ours.
No.
Everyone's.
Well, maybe ours. I mean, usually
we'll also discuss ours.
We usually can't help it being like, oh, I have one, and jumping in.
Oh, yes. We will be discussing our own, of course. But first, Amy, let's start with one of our claims to fame is that we can't remember to do the mailbag. But today we're doing it. Let's do the mailbag, Amy.
Oh, yes. Wait a minute. Time for mailbag. Wait. Check the mailbag.
Okay, this week's mailbag is from YouTube. Did you know you can go to YouTube and comment on our YouTube videos? Some other people do, and it's not so nice. So maybe you could drop us a nice comment on a YouTube video.
If you're a person who wants to talk about what a gigantic forehead I have, registered. I'm already aware. Please, you don't need to leave that comment for the 97th time.
No. But be more like Maudie Loves 3, who commented to say, I cannot even tell you both that I have clung to this podcast like a life raft. I have a 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old girl and boy. And wow, the amount of information I have gleaned from your podcast, as well as the incredible number of resources. Your podcast should be a #1 staple in every mother's life. And I'm so glad I get to see you in person on YouTube because I love your content. Thank you, Maudie Loves 3.
Love that. And please keep the reviews coming. They do help us out, and we love them.
Now to what really matters, which is everybody's randomest claims to fame.
Let's focus.
We went to our Facebook page and group. You can find those both just by searching What Fresh Hell Podcast on Facebook. And we asked our listeners, what is the, you stood next to somebody who was Julia Roberts' cousin? You know, what is your really random, and you're still dining out on it. You're still talking about it anyhow. We want to hear about it.
And indeed, people came through. Amy, should we start random, with a really this person understood the word random in the assignment, as the kids like to say. My random claim to fame is so far from the original source of fame that I'd have to make a flowchart. A family member dated the husband of one of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, friends of friends, a decade ago. So let me walk you through that one more time, because I'm not sure you understand how random it is. Didn't date a husband.
You did say Real Housewives of New Jersey, and I was like, wait, what?
A family member dated the husband of one of the Real Housewives of New Jersey's friends of a friend a decade ago. So it's I don't even think they dated the husband. I think they dated a friend of the husband of the Real Housewife.
And who is this? Is this an anonymous poster, or do we have a name for this person?
No. Alyssa claims this. She is very proud of it.
Alyssa, I can claim a closer claim to fame of Real Housewives of New Jersey than you. I believe I've never shared this story. I was riding JetBlue, a modestly priced airline, sitting in my seat when who do I see getting on the plane but Joe and Melissa Gorga from the Real Housewives of New Jersey and their children. This was probably 7-10 years ago. It was definitely before the pandemic.
I'm going to say I can name 2 of them. One is Antonia. One of the boys is Nico, maybe, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anyway, they were still pretty little. They got on, and it just was so funny to me because I'm like, that's Joe and Melissa Gorga. What are they doing flying JetBlue? I'm thinking as if they have their own Air Force One to go everywhere. They're just regular people. They were
the Bravo jet.
Right. They were straggling onto this airplane, and Melissa had one of those, who's a Real Housewife. She was wearing the pillow you wear around your neck so you can sleep on the airplane. She had that already ready to go as she boarded the airplane, dragging the kids and come on. And they sat in row 27. I'm just going to say it was very not glamorous. No nanny, just the 5 of them.
Okay. Where were you flying to? Let me guess.
It was Florida. It was somewhere in Florida.
Florida. I guessed it right. I was like, I have a feeling they were going to Florida.
I don't even remember where. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it was Florida. Yeah.
Well, Alyssa says about her Real Housewives, not as close call as you. I mean, you've skipped like 6 people ahead from Alyssa with your story.
I breathed the same enclosed cabin air as Melissa Gorga.
She says one of the people who is not an official cast member, but a friend who appeared at their parties and gets a little name banner when their face appears on the screen is this person. Here I am on season 17, still watching, partly due to my tiny connection.
Okay.
So her friend dates, no, I guess it's a family member, dates the husband of a friend of a friend. But that person does occasionally get a tiny banner on screen to identify them.
They get to go to the party. Yeah.
I mean, huge if true, let me just say. I love it.
That's a big one to start. All right, I'm going to go to Christiana next. This is a really good one. She says, my only claim to sort of fame, own this, Christiana, this is a good one, is that my mom's best friend from high school is Dolly Parton's backup singer and keyboardist. He was married to one of her sisters for a while, I guess Dolly's sisters, and my parents got to attend the wedding and Dolly was there.
Huge. Has this ever happened to you that you're going to a wedding and you know that somewhere in the wedding is a famous person?
Is a famous person, yes.
It's so exciting.
Yes, I was at a wedding with, who's the woman from Third Rock from the Sun?
I don't remember her name, but I know you're talking about. Very tall, beautiful.
Kristen, whoever. Very statuesque young comedian that was in the cast of Third Rock from the Sun. She was at the wedding and she made it known. Everybody at the wedding was like, NBC is forbidding everybody to take pictures. This was like the word going around at this wedding, which was in the Midwest somewhere. NBC has forbidden pictures to be taken at this wedding. I'm like, I don't think that's NBC's rule. I think somebody wants to have some fun tonight without ending up in Us Magazine. So NBC said, the lady said, I love that rule. She had ruled, Kristen Johnson, her name is, she had rolled out this rule that like NBC says you can't take any pictures of me at this wedding. And everybody was buying into it because they were so breathless to be in the same room as one of the actors from Third Rock from the Sun.
One of my relatives, I mean, I have a lot of relatives, so there's always somebody. But one of my relatives, too distant, unfortunately, for me to be included, was marrying somebody who went to college with Jeremy Lin Sanity, the basketball player. And it was definitely like you wanted that invite, like you wanted to get to meet Jeremy Lin.
Jeremy Lin was a Knicks player who went on a totally improbable, crazy good run. Like he was like a pretty good player, good enough to be in the NBA, but he was, he was not Kobe Bryant. But all of a sudden he was having this insane run and he was Asian American, which was also very interesting. So in New York for that like 18 minutes, there was Lin Sanity.
It was Linsanity. And I will say the wedding was close enough to Linsanity that people were feeling Linsanity around these wedding invitations. They were like, I want in to the Linsanity wedding.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah. I lived in LA for a long time. So I had a million like, oh, that's, we were going to dinner once and I was like, party of 2. And they were like, Louis Dreyfus. And I was like, no, Abels. And then I was like, and then 10 minutes later, Julia Louis Dreyfus walked in. I was like, okay, no, that's her, When you encounter people, this was on my second date ever with my husband. I was in an Italian restaurant in Los Feliz in LA. There's like that main drag of Los Feliz. I can't remember what the name of it is, where the Brown Derby used to be. And there was an Italian restaurant, like checkered tablecloth Italian restaurant. Went with my husband-to-be on our second date maybe. And I had been binging Lost, the show Lost. I think it was still on the air. But Lost, for people who did not experience it, is about 20 people maybe who are trapped on a desert island. And one of the people is named Hurley. I don't remember the name of the actor, but kind of like a big guy with very curly hair, very distinctive looking, and someone you've never seen on TV otherwise. At least I hadn't. Hurley from Lost. I'm sitting on my second date and Hurley from Lost is sitting right behind my husband in my eye line. And it was so distracting because it's not like if you see Brad Pitt, you're like, oh, that's Brad Pitt. Like, that's cool. And it's definitely distracting. But somehow, like the guy on the desert island who you believe to be the character from the desert island is in the restaurant. It just was, I was finally like, I'm sorry. Hurley from Lost is sitting behind you. And like, I cannot carry on a normal conversation. I want to go over there and be like, how are you getting off the island? What's going on with the lottery numbers? Do they mean anything? It was one of those, it got me.
I never watched Lost, so I can't picture this actor, but I have seen it happen many times, right? That somebody goes up to like, what do I know you from? And you're that acting like, I'm Hurley from Lost. Like, you just might as well wear it on your shirt, because 10 times a day, people come up to you and want you to do the work of telling them what they might know you from.
Well, Ernie Hudson, who was in the original Ghostbusters, makes this joke all the time that people are like, what do I know you from? And he's like, I was in Ghostbusters. And they're like, who did you play in Ghostbusters? And he's like, I was the black guy. And they're like, oh my God, yeah, that's who you are. And it's like, right. You maybe didn't need. My sister has a friend who is the 13th guy in Ocean's 13. And he's not really a celebrity, but he is one of the 13 in Ocean's 13. There's a contortionist, Asian guy who's like an acrobat. And yeah, it's like, I'm one of Ocean's 13. Which one? The not famous guy. Like, you can name 11 of them. And then there's the Chinese acrobat and then this guy.
His cousin was in my 6th grade, the other 6th grade, but in 6th grade with me, but in the other classroom. That's how random we're looking for, guys. And people came through.
We have a lot of them. Let's do some celebrities. I had to lead with this one because it's my favorite of all the celebrities. Halston, beautiful name, was around 8 years old and was an extra in League of Their Own. I was obsessed with Madonna, she says, and was just a few feet away from her at one point during the day. I'm somewhere in the crowd singing the national anthem.
Who's iconic?
I gotta
Halston or
say,
Madonna?
I mean, it was an iconic experience, but Halston is an icon because of all the celebrities, like if I were to say to you, Amy, who's your number one celebrity of all time? Who would that person be? I mean, mine is just Madonna through and through. I dressed as her as a kid. I cut out pictures of her. I thought about Madonna at least an hour a day for 4 years of my life. I've seen her in every tour she's ever gone to. Like, Madonna is the celebrity of my life.
I sort of went back and forth between Bruce Springsteen and Boy George without ever really committing to either one. I had posters of each on my wall, different ends of the spectrum. Yeah, definitely attracted to Boy George. I think I was fascinated by Boy George, and I was attracted to Bruce Springsteen. But Bruce Springsteen, people are like, what are you talking about? But he was like 32 years old when I'm talking about being into Bruce Springsteen. He was really cute.
My celebrity crush was Pierce Brosnan, OG Pierce Brosnan, back in the day when he was on Remington Steele.
This is such an old deluxe alert. Back in my day.
Yeah. People, I mean, Pierce Brosnan now is like older gentleman with a wacky mustache. Like,
wasn't he James Bond at some point? Wasn't he one of like the 45 James Bonds?
Yeah, he was James Bond very briefly. I don't think he was a super popular James Bond, but back in the day, he was on a show called Remington Steele, and he was my celebrity crush. Like, I mean, I would say that, yeah, like 70% of my time between the ages of 12 and 20 were occupied by thinking about either Madonna or Pierce Brosnan. They were just, I thought about them all the time. I've seen Madonna probably 7 times in concert, but I've never ever seen her in the wild. Never spotted her. No, nothing.
Yeah. She does a good job of maintaining the old school, like, mystery. The Greta Garbo, like.
She's not super approachable. And I don't engage with her on social media because I get the vibe that it's not great what's going on Instagram with her, but never seen her in person. And I think I want to keep it that way. I'm fine with it.
Exactly. I want to give you, Caitlin has 2 claims to fame. They're so good. She went to college with Justin Long's brother. I'm not sure I know who Justin Long is, but Caitlin went to college with his brother.
Justin Long, I can definitely picture him. I don't know why. I feel like he was the Apple spokesman for a while. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All right. Justin Long's brother. Okay. And also, she was working at a wine tasting event, and the band Train was there, and she served them wine at a wine tasting event.
Bands are funny for me because, like, I could sing you every line of that horrible Train song. Guess who's back in the atmosphere? Da, da. Oh, terrible song. But, I mean, they could walk into my kitchen and help me make dinner, and I wouldn't be able to tell you who they are. Like, they're just Train, the band Train.
So this is a good one. 2 summers ago, I went on vacation to Italy. I talked about it a couple weeks ago when we interviewed Joe Piazza. We went to Sicily to see Calta Balota and where my husband's family came from. And then we went to Taormina, which is where The White Lotus season 2 was filmed before The White Lotus came out, it's a beautiful place for sure. So we were in this hotel there, and they have an amphitheater there, an ancient Greek amphitheater that they still have shows in. And Simple Minds was performing there. And we were sort of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Remember them from the 80s? Anyway, the next morning we're at breakfast, in the hotels where you walk around and have toast. And because it's in Italy, they have cheese and salami and stuff at breakfast too. So we're walking around. And you just clock these people immediately, like 4 of these things are not like the other. It was all American tourists in Italy, and then somebody with purple hair and somebody wearing like a leather jacket on an 85-degree day. And my mother-in-law started chit-chatting with them, and we're like, what's their deal? So anyway, they laughed, and she came over and she said, they're on tour. They're apparently a band, and they had a show last night. So we realized only after they left the restaurant that it was Simple Minds. It was the band.
Right.
And they just were like looking draggy at breakfast like the rest of us.
Yeah, I have a story similar to that, and I'm going to tell it right after this break.
Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem. I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future. No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH. My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. So I had a cousin who worked in television, and she would get us tickets to things. And I have an amazing, we should do our celebrity encounters as a bonus episode because I have a great story about some of the celebrity encounters that I've had. But at some point, I got into some event and the after party, and it was the Goo Goo Dolls, who's, again, people may be like, that's not a real thing, but there was a band called the Goo Goo Dolls that was very big in the 90s. Can't think of their big hit right now, but the Goo Goo Dolls.
You want to get married, run away. That was one of their Goo Goo Doll songs. I want to wake up where you are. So why don't you slide? Yeah.
Oh, I want to wake up. Yeah. Okay, we got it. We're hitting Goo Goo Dolls. Now, wow, Amy, the Goo Goo Jukebox, didn't see that coming.
I saw them in concert once, and every song was like, oh, I know this song. Oh, I know this song. It was one of those experiences. Back to your story.
I was on like the bar line or the buffet line, and there was a guy who was wearing like giant, like shorty pants, I would call them, like big pants that were cut off at the calf. It was an odd look.
Shorty pants. Capris?
But they weren't like capris, I think, is tapering in. These were
culottes.
like tubes. Yeah, like just weird pant tubes that I think he had cut off with like a scissor. It was a look. And I was struck by the outfit. And then there had been, to my somewhat defense, a couple of different bands that played, but it was a Goo Goo Dolls concert. And I was like, oh, how's it? Oh, we were chatting about the food. This looks good. That looks good. And I was like, oh, what brings you here? You know, something. Because it was kind of like an industry-ish event. And he's like, oh, I played in the band. And I was like, oh, what band did you play in? And he just looked at me with the straightest face. And he went, the Goo Goo Dolls. And I was like, oh, good job. Like, it was just such a stupid question. And yeah, I asked the Goo Goo Doll what he did. And he was like, I play in the band at a Goo Goo Dolls concert. And I said, what band?
My most tenuous claim to rock and roll fame is that I went to Six Flags Great Adventure. I'm talking like I was in like 7th or 8th grade, and stood in line for the roller coaster, long line for the roller coaster, got talking to the girls in front of me because there were no cell phones back then. So you talked to strangers you met in line. And she had gone out on a date with the drummer for the Romantics, who sang that song, I Hear the Secrets That You Keep When You're Talking in Your Sleep. Everybody's like, what do you guys, we've lost everybody at this point. I don't know. They were a one-hit wonder.
Next up are Ed Sullivan run-ins.
This girl dated the drummer briefly, and I talked to her in line for the roller coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure, and I told everybody about that all summer, that I knew a girl who dated them. Didn't know her name or anything. Never spoke to her again. I was in line with her. Mm-hmm.
No, I was in line with a girl who dated the Romantics guy. While we're on random celebrity encounters, Sadiq went to middle school with Jessica Biel, although she barely attended.
Famous.
She also attended summer camp with Ariana Richardson when she was 6. Do you know who that person is?
Isn't that her name? Ariana
No, that's Ariana Grande. Oldie Lux.
Oh. Back in my day. Ariana Richardson. Let's see who it is.
We don't know. We're going to Google her.
Ariana Richards.
Oh, Richards.
She's best, maybe. Otherwise, it's really random. Ariana Richards is best known for her role as Lex Murphy in the blockbuster film Jurassic Park.
Maybe. We don't know. Anyway, Sadiq, you didn't go to camp with the girl from Wicked because that's Ariana Grande. But you may...
Oh, I got it for you. Ariana Richardson was at one point Ariana Richardson, and then she became Ariana Richards. So she was throwing us.
Okay, so first of all, Sadiq is telling the truth because she acknowledged her by her original name because this happened when they were 6. And then she became the little girl from Jurassic Park. Huge if true. We love it. I like this one from Emily. The day she finished the draft of her dissertation at a cafe on 17th and Irving Place, that's New York City, if you don't know.
I can picture this. Yeah, I can picture it perfectly.
She went outside to have a cigarette, and David Duchovny was there. And she told him, I am a huge fan, and I just finished a draft of my dissertation. He was so nice and asked what it was about, education, and then talked about his mother, who was in the field as well. It was the best day.
Oh, that's nice.
A nice celebrity encounter, I feel like, is really, really fun. And I will tell you that I share a nice celebrity encounter with Nicolette.
Okay.
Henry Winkler came to eat at her steakhouse one night. He was super nice and took pictures with the staff.
That's really nice.
When I was living in LA, there was a fundraiser. And I remember the ticket to the fundraiser was $300, which to me seemed like it might as well be, $3 million at the time. I was scraping stuff together. And then when you write on stuff, sometimes you get like royalty and like bonus checks. And I got a bonus check for like $3,000. And I was like, I'm going to this fundraiser because I'm going to it was at Henry Winkler's home. Okay. So I was like, oh my God, there'll be exciting celebrities there. Marcia Cross from Melrose Place was there. It was not like celebrity filled as I was picturing, but I knew somebody there. And when I walked in, he was hugging Henry Winkler. And then I saw him later and I was like, oh my gosh, I saw you hugging Henry Winkler. And he's like, Henry Winkler hugs everybody. Go talk to him for 2 seconds. He'll give you a hug. So I screwed up my courage and I walked over to Henry Winkler at his beautiful house that I think is in Bel Air or Brentwood or something. And I was like, thanks so much for hosting this. This is my first fundraiser. I'm so excited to be here. What did he do, Amy? He grabbed me into a giant hug and he was like, darling, I'm so glad you're with us. Isn't it a wonderful day? I hope you'll get some whatever strudel from the table over there. And he, I will say, is the friendliest, not only celebrity, but possibly human being I've ever met in my life. And everybody says that about him, but I definitely chalk him up to friendliest ever. Like he just, and it's funny because he's been famous since he was very young. I think he was the Fonz when he was, like a pretty young kid, but he's just such a doll in real life. I was very happily surprised.
Here's a less perfect celebrity encounter that Joy had, but it still counts. Joy stood behind Stephen King in line at the Bangor Mall bookstore. Now, you know it's him because you're in Maine, right?
Yeah, you're in Bangor. Isn't it Bangor?
Bangor, I think it's Bangor, Maine.
Bangor, Maine. All right. I thought it was Bangor. I haven't spent a lot of time.
You can yell at your radios. Send us mail.
Yell at your radios. Goldilocks.
Joy gave Stephen King the eye because Stephen King. So then the checkout lady asked if he had cut in front of her because she thought there was attitude involved. And then the checkout lady asked for his ID.
In Maine.
In Maine.
No, that feels like you should know your Stephen. And he's got a very distinctive face. He's not like a generically faced dude. He's got a very Stephen King face, Stephen King.
And he wears those glasses. I feel like he's somebody who's like, I got to look and I'm sticking to it. And yes, I am Stephen King.
Yeah, I saw him once. He's in a band. I can't remember the name of it.
He is?
He is in a band called, I'm actually going to look it up because they're fun. It's a band made up of authors. And it's called the Something Rollers, I think. And I did see that band perform once, and it was really fun. They're called the Rock Bottom Remainders. And it's Stephen King, Amy Tan, David Barry, who's the comedy writer, Sam Barry, who I assume is his brother, Scott Turow, Mitch Albom, Barbara Kingsolver. It's like authors who are in a band together, the Rock Bottom Remainders. I saw them play once. It was fun.
Were they good?
I mean, no, but it was fun. You're like, oh, there's Amy Tan in a band. I don't know. It was fun. They weren't bad. But while we're talking about bad celebrity encounters, Amy, I'm afraid we have some people who had mean celebrities. Bethany worked in a fancy soap store in New York City and waited on Bill Maher, who was buying stuff for a very young woman with him. He was pretty rude and very arrogant. This doesn't surprise me.
No.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't put Bill Maher as like, now there's one kind celeb. He seems, like he would be arrogant. That's kind of his shtick, right? And then I hate to speak ill of the dead, but Nicolette says that Kirstie Alley was a huge B word to her and her coworkers when they were trying to help her buy flats and flags of Christmas decor.
And flags of Christmas decor? That sounds complicated.
Okay, Nicolette, not to take Kirstie Alley's side, but what the heck is a flat and flag of Christmas decor?
No wonder tensions were high. Nobody was sure what they were even looking for. I'm not sure we do have any of that here, ma'am.
What the heck was going on in that store? I mean, maybe Kirstie Alley was right.
Well, here's a good palate cleanser. Jeanette says her cousin was the winner of the Bachelorette Season 2 with Meredith. That means nothing to me. That's like saying like she played for the Orioles in 1967. She says at the time it was kind of a big deal, but they didn't get married. But that was her cousin.
Oh, I just Googled. I watched this season and there she is hugging the cousin. And
meh.
Well, it didn't work out. He's very cute, the cousin, but I would have completely forgotten this person existed. But she was very pretty and she was the Bachelorette. I hope it all worked out fine for them. Amy, we have some people whose claim to fame is What Fresh Hell, and we love them.
Really? Okay. All right.
Tali says, to be honest, my biggest claim to fame was when I was mentioned in the Best Life Hacks episode for something I posted in the What Fresh Hell group.
Well, look, you post stuff, we'll talk about it on the show.
Tali, this is your second claim to fame because you're getting mentioned again today. And I hope that you will all spend a lot of time at facebook.com/groups/whatfreshhellcast and be interacting there because we will also talk about you and it can become maybe even a more minor claim to fame than kind of knowing the friend of a husband of a Real Housewife from New Jersey.
Right.
Sarah also says she was just thinking when they referenced my Facebook comment on the podcast, I told everyone, ha. And Cindy says, my husband says I'm internet famous for the couple of times you've read my comment on the podcast.
That's correct. That's definitely correct.
That is, in fact, being internet famous. I have once gotten a retweet from Sarah. I can't remember her name right now, but she hosts the podcast You're Wrong
really
About.
famous.
She retweeted
Sarah
me.
Marshall.
Sarah Marshall retweeted me one time. And Aubrey Gordon, who hosts Maintenance Phase, we asked her to be on the podcast. She was too busy because she was doing a big tour to promote her book, and we were a little bit late asking her, but she wrote us a very nice email back, and I feel like that is my internet famous. Like when I saw that I had an email from Aubrey Gordon, I just was so excited.
Raffi, the beloved children's singer, retweeted something I said once, and I was like, oh my gosh, Raffi knows who I am.
Yeah, Rafi definitely doesn't know who you are, but he just once hit the retweet button.
He's all using social media for like love and kindness and positivity. I forget what I said. I was like, hug a tree today, and he retweeted it.
I think that we grew up in the era. I remember the first time we ever saw a celebrity was Rick O'Casey. Now, again, prepare to hear names. You have no idea who these people are. There was a band called The Cars. The lead singer was Rick Ocasek. He was married to the model Paulina Poroskova.
Paulina Poroskova, yeah.
We were at JFK and we saw them. And like as a child, it was like seeing an alien. I mean, the Cars were a huge band. This was in the 80s. I was young. And I remember just like trying not to look at them. They were like sitting at a gate near us. They were static. It wasn't like a pass-by sighting, but I couldn't stop looking at them. I thought it was just the most exciting thing that ever happened. And now I feel like with the internet and social media, like it's great to be able to reach out to people, but the magic of like, I'm seeing a famous person in life, I feel we've lost the magic art a little bit.
Yeah. With the whole stars, they're just like us thing. We want them not to be just like us. But they board the airplane, right, with the thing around their neck already.
I want to just creepily stare at them at the airport. That's what I want, Amy. Okay, we'll be right back with even more random claims to fame.
All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that, taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE.
Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women, tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING.
And now, things that will happen when you engage with social media today.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
You will pin 19 different amazing ideas for dinner. They will look delicious. While you may purchase these ingredients for those dinners at some time, you will never make these dinners.
Turns out 14 years ago today, you ate a hot dog. And for some reason, you posted 4 different pictures of it.
A photo of a dog and a squirrel cuddling will lead you down an unusual animal friendships rabbit hole from which you will not emerge for several hours.
You will receive confirmation that the guy who dumped you in high school is now a moon landing truther who's on his 3rd wife, and it will make you feel happy in kind of a mean way.
You'll see an article on tropical jellyfish poisonings off the coast of Sri Lanka, which will make you extremely nervous the next time you are swimming, even though you are in a lake in upstate New York.
You will watch makeup tutorials and comment aloud to no one in particular. Since when are people using red and green as part of their foundation? How does that even work?
You'll find yourself lost in a rooster support-related drama on your local chicken social media group. You will realize it is 3 a.m. and you need to be up in 4 hours. You will wonder how you let this happen again.
This has been Things That Will Happen When You Engage with Social Media Today.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast. Amy, let's turn to some accomplishments in our random claims to fame.
Yes.
I have a random claim to fame that I can't even go into the backstory of it because it is so random that it's, again, a whole episode. Perhaps I will put it on the bonus episode when we're talking. But I was once referred to in the New Yorker magazine as a former hairdresser, although I have never been a hairdresser in my life. It was an article about a job that my sister had that I had also worked at, and it was describing the people at that job. And I was referred to randomly as a former hairdresser because people were saying kind of mean things about the people who worked at this place. And it was funny, but super random. So random, it's in fact hard to explain and probably not a very good story. I have been featured in the New Yorker magazine. Yes.
That's a claim to fame with an incorrect phrase. Modifying your name.
Yes, in fact, New Yorker, famous for their fact checking, did not catch that one.
You're right. We should take that all the way up, all the way to the...
Yeah, we should run that up the flagpole.
Joy says she once caught a fly in her knitting needles, Karate Kid style. She says just not chopsticks. Oh, right, because it was knitting needles instead. But nobody was around to see it, but she just told us. So we can be like, wow, that's amazing.
Amy, I want us to just take a moment and clap for Joy. Because I feel that no one saw her do this, and there is nothing quite like the pain of doing something extraordinary and nobody sees you do it. We have a thing in our house called house history, and when extraordinary things happen, we write them on the wall in Sharpie. And it's a house history wall. There's only 3 things on the wall of house history, but it has to be something absolutely amazing. Like if you caught a fly in knitting needles, we would write that in Sharpie on the wall because it's amazing.
Can you share any of the 3 things that are on your house history wall?
Sure. One of them is that we were playing soccer during COVID and it was tied and my son kicked what would be the game-winning shot. And it went wide of the goal, but just as it went wide of the goal, our cat ran by and bashed the ball with her face and it went into the net. So our cat scored the tie-breaking goal in soccer. That's house history, right? And so if you lived in my house, I would take your word for it and I would write this in Sharpie on my wall that you caught a fly using knitting needles.
If this was me, Hannah, I would talk about this every day. Hannah was the girl in the boat on the original bags of Cape Cod potato chips. It's her. It's her on the bag. Have you seen this actual photo?
Yeah. There's a photo. We'll put a link to the photo at least in the show notes because isn't it? It's someone famous. You know, the Coppertone picture.
Coppertone baby is Jodie Foster.
It's Jodie Foster. That's right. I couldn't think of who it was. Like the Copper Tone Baby is Jodie Foster. That's a fun one. Like you're the person on that thing. My uncle had a claim to fame, which was there used to be an opening. He was a ski jumper, my uncle. And there used to be an opening for a show called The Wide World of Sports on TV. The tagline was the thrill of victory. And it was like a person running through the tape in the marathon with their eyes up. And it said the agony of defeat. And it was a person falling off a ski jump. And my uncle's not the person falling off the ski jump. But one day the announcer said, I've only seen one worse fall off a ski jump than that. And he described the fall. And he was describing my uncle's fall off the ski jump in which he broke his leg.
Wow. That's in my book, The Agony of Defeat Guide from Wide World of Sports. Like that's like a line in my book. And I was going to be shocked if it was your uncle. But it could have been. It could have been.
Well, the guy who was the Agony of Defeat inspired the sports announcer to talk about my uncle. I mean, it's close enough, Amy. That's enough.
Famous. Michelle was the reserve champion junior watermelon seed spitter at the 1988 Kansas State Fair. She says there's still a T-shirt somewhere at her mother's house. At your mother's house? Why is that not framed on your wall? Why is it not a quilt?
It's T-shirt quilt time, people. I finally made my T-shirt quilt. I talk about it all the time on the podcast. You got to make a T-shirt quilt because I got a lot of T-shirts and it's like I was a runner for a while. It's like my marathon T-shirts and like, you know, crew of the like comedy group in college. I don't know. I made a T-shirt quilt out of them. Get that baby in a T-shirt quilt.
I have a friend. I mean, I'm just going to give her a shout out because we're talking about it. Bitty Birdie, Bitty Birdie. You can find her on the internet. She makes T-shirt quilts. And they're good.
Oh, she makes T-shirts. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Love them. Lauren was an extra in a Brad Pitt movie when she was a kid. It's always her two truths and a lie, but it's true. So if you ever play two truths and a lie against Lauren, I wish she had told us what movie and whether you can see her.
I mean, it was a celebrity encounter, but at least she like achieved something in order to earn that proximity, right? It wasn't just like I was at the airport and she earned a spot in a movie.
Yeah, my sister was an extra in one of the Mission Impossible movies when she was getting her SAG card. Is it your SAG card? Is that the one you get in movies? And she's walking by with a folder under her arm in FBI headquarters while they're discussing, like, what are we going to do about that rogue agent? And she's walking by with her very distinctive walk. And I'm like, it's fine. And it was in the trailer. And so we're sitting there watching on a big screen. And like, there's my sister walking by with her like little file folder. It's thrilling.
Back to the accomplishments of the real life sort. Julie got first place in a cherry pie eating contest put on by her local grocery store. There is a little bit of an asterisk. There were only 2 contestants in her age group, including her, but she won.
Okay. But she beat that other one fair and square by eating cherry pie faster.
I've never won a contest, I don't think. Like a contest that people are standing there watching, right? And now we're going to watch this and 3, 2, 1, go. I don't think I've ever won something like that.
We used to have swim races at the beach every summer where my grandmother lived. Milford, Connecticut, if you know it. And it was swimming, but basically it degraded quickly because it was like for like 4-year-olds into what parent could throw their child the farthest towards the finish line. Instead of the start, you weren't like standing on your feet and started. It was like the dads would launch you. And so I fired my dad because I lost. And my uncle, who was bigger than my dad, he would like throw me right across the finish line, basically. I had trophies and I was like proud of them. I was like, oh yeah, I won. My mom would be like, Uncle John just threw you.
Lindsay saw Hulk Hogan walking down the street in 2007 in Miami. This kid was with him.
There's something about seeing, it's the iconic celebrity. Like somehow if I saw Julia Louis-Dreyfus at that dinner, and it's like a Tuesday. Her husband is a guy who used to be on Saturday Night Live. I recognized him too.
Brad Hall, his name is.
Brad Hall, that's right. And Amy, deep cuts today. And you're coming through on all of them, by the way. Like,
well, I have a Brad Hall, Julia Louis-Dreyfus celebrity encounter story, but I'm going to save it for the bonus episode. It's not that funny. It's just true.
All right. You're going to say, put that in your hip pocket. But you know what I mean? It's like, oh, there's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's like dressed down. Like she's beautiful. But, you know, but somehow when you see, it's like seeing Mr. T is much more exciting than seeing Julia Louis-Dreyfus. It's like the iconic, somehow seeing Dolly Parton, like, you know, she's going to be decked out. It's going to be sparkly. It's going to be hairdo. Like,
and I'm going to say fine to approach. If it's Dolly Parton or Hulk Hogan and they're like in their character, right? They are a personality. Or even Stephen King. Like, here I am wearing my Stephen King glasses. It's Maine. It's definitely me. You can just say like, hey, I love your books. You don't have to like hassle them.
I feel there's a line before Stephen King because that's just his face.
But like David Duchovny outside, but then you bring up your dissertation and he'll talk to you about something else besides like, you're awesome, you're famous. If you go up to a famous person and have something else to talk about, it usually goes pretty well.
If they're eating dinner, I had a friend who was overserved, as we say in the Irish tradition, coming back from the restaurant and a bar and stopped a man who was trying to enjoy his dinner and was like, "Are you Bob?" And he's like, "No, I'm not Bob." And she's like, "Really? We went to college together, right? Bob?" Anyway, this went on for like 4 exchanges as this gentleman got increasingly annoyed. And then he was like, "No, okay, I'm going back to my meal now." And she came back and she was like, "Bob was really rude to me. He doesn't remember me." And I was like, "That's because that's Kiefer Sutherland. And you don't know him. He's not Bob. You do know him, but he's not Bob." And I've definitely I had that one night on the street with Gwyneth Paltrow years ago. Gwyneth Paltrow and I are the same age. And walking down the street in New York City, and I went to kind of like a preppy Catholic school with a lot of girls who kind of look like Gwyneth Paltrow. And I was walking down the street and I did that thing where I was like, that's a girl from my high school, because I recognized her so clearly and she fit the mold of like a girl who would have gone to my high school. And I was opening my mouth, like I was literally opening my mouth and holding out my hand to be like, "Hi, we're running into each other." And she was smoking and she gave me the death stare that was like, "Do not speak to me." And like, as my hand was going out and my smile was coming out and I was about to be like, "Kimberly?" I was like, "Oh, shoot. That's Gwyneth Paltrow. That is not Kimberly." And I just kind of retracted my hand and like kept walking. But she definitely gave me a look like, "If you touch me, I will murder you."
No, thank you. Right. But if you're Hulk Hogan and you're walking down the street like wearing your WWE belt.
I feel that is the same as saying hi to Donald Duck at Disneyland.
Yes.
Like it's like you're saying hi to a character. Yeah. Like I'm allowed to take the picture with you.
If you have your...
I mean, I think sometimes it's hard because like Jennifer Aniston just probably has Jennifer Aniston's face and she's like, "I'm not doing it right now." But it's harder to tell if Jennifer Aniston's doing it. If he's wearing a feather boa, it's game on.
I was in a restroom once with Courtney Cox and she had a friend with her. Like the friend was like waiting outside the bathroom store, like at the sinks. And Courtney Cox came out and she looked at me like I'm not alone in the bathroom. Then she looked at her friend and her friend just gave me like, this was all going on in like milliseconds with her eyes. The friend looking at me like, "Don't talk to Courtney Cox. Like I'm here with Courtney Cox to make sure you don't talk to her." And I'm like, "Ladies, we're good. Like I wish you well and I don't need to say hi." But I think, yeah, when you get to be famous, you just have to have somebody with you all the time to sort of prevent, "Hey, are you Kimberly?" Like that doesn't happen if you have somebody with you.
Yeah, and I get that it must be very annoying people wanted to be famous and they became famous, but at the same time, some days you are just like trying to get to Miami with your kids and you have Melissa Gorga's face and you're like, I just kind of want to get my kids settled. Like, I don't want to like talk about what a jerk Teresa is today to 9. And maybe if you're that level celebrity, it never gets old, but I have a friend who I won't name, but who is a celebrity from a children's show. And it's always interesting because he kind of moves through the world as like a completely anonymous person until he passes people who were between the age of 12 and 16 in like 2006. And then he gets completely swarmed. And it is funny, I think, like being a celebrity must be complicated.
I'm just going to say in conclusion, it's nice when your claims to fame are random and you can just live your life. It's better the way we are.
Yes. Keep it random, people. These were some great random claims to fame. We didn't even get to Prince, Richard Simmons, all of these wonderful people who you people have run into out in the wild. But
Well, you can find the original thread with everybody's funny stories on our Facebook group, just to bring it home again, facebook.com/groups/whatfreshhellcast. It's 6,000 plus people talking to each other, laughing, solving each other's parenting dilemmas. And it's just the nicest place on the internet, we think.
if you want to have a random encounter with us, guys, we're going on tour. You can find us in Boston, Charlotte, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and our hometown of New York City. Tickets at whatfreshhellpodcast.com. Right in the banner, you're going to see a link to them. Go get tickets today, and we can't wait to have a random encounter with you out on the road.
That's right. Well said. With that, we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.